Late drama for the Quinnipiac women's soccer team tonight. The Bobcats traveled to Iona with 3 points in mind, but they left New York with 0. Hell, blame the coach for a poor game plan, but do not blame Nadia Gill. Without her, Quinnipiac wouldn't be sniffing the playoffs. Sniffing it. I could have done better. In fact, I got cheese doodles right here that would have played better. Got the Wise cheese doodles right here. Got them right here. DaCosta has listed Whalen and Pastore as hopeful for Saturday so they can get a final tune-up before MAC play starts next week. Move on to my favorite part of the show on Fridays with the stupidest thing I heard this week, brought to you by Custom Cakes by Steve. If you can dream it, we can bake it. All right. Stupidest thing I heard this week. This was pretty easy. I'm Dylan Fear, and this Q30 update is brought to you by the Easy Take Oven. No hot takes allowed. Late drama for the Quinnipiac women's soccer team tonight. The Bobcats traveled to Iona with 3 points in mind, but they left New York with 0. Quinnipiac tied the game at 1 with just under 5 minutes left on an Al Pelletier strike from 12 yards out. But with less than a minute to go, Erica Flowers nets the game winner. Quinnipiac falls to 6th in the MAC with 3 games left. And finally, Baker Dunleavy does it again. The first-year men's basketball coach brings in another highly touted recruit. Matthew Baulenk chooses Quinnipiac over Florida Gulf Coast and Rhode Island. The commitment comes just 2 weeks after Ty Pickron, picked the Bobcats over Stony Brook and Bowling Green. Dunleavy says Quinnipiac's future backcourt looks pretty set. I'm Dylan Fear. They competed with the Warriors to an extent last year, right? If Kevin Durant doesn't hit that shot in Game 3, it ends up being 2-2. Warriors probably win in 6 games. Against one, Cavs losing 6 in the finals to arguably the best team ever assembled, team that won 73 games a couple of years prior. They actually got better losing Kyrie Irving, in my opinion. Isaiah Thomas has been hurt. That's one of the best point guards in the league, an All-NBA second teamer last year. Can shoot, can score in the fourth quarter, which is something that LeBron has issues with, scoring late, and now you have that piece like a Kyrie Irving that can close games. They added Jay Crowder inside to be a mini Draymond Green, so to speak. I think they actually got better. I think Kevin Love is always undervalued, but the stuff, first of all, he's just guaranteed to give you a couple of threes. He's going to box out. He's going to grab you 12 boards. His ability to pass as a big man is undervalued in the eyes of a lot of people. He's a great passer. I'm sure you've seen him. His outlet passes to LeBron, whoever, are fantastic. He brings an energy. He's now been in the finals for 3 straight years.
All right, Dylan, who's your Santa's little helper?
I'm going to go with Tim Hardaway Jr. on the Knicks.
I like it.
The Knicks have been terrible. They're a joke throughout the NBA, Phil Jackson, all that stuff. And now they're 11-11. In large part to Tim Hardaway Jr. Got that big contract. He's worth every penny. He's averaging 18 points per game this year, by far the best year of his career. And I just don't think he's one of the talked about guys in the NBA just because he's on the Knicks. He was on the Hawks last year again, just like Paul said with the Nuggets. Who cares about the Hawks? So,
well, the Hawks were a solid team when they had Tim Hardaway. It's just that he almost found himself in Atlanta. I feel like when he was a part of the Knicks, he was almost poisoned by the poor play style of J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert.
Yeah, well, now that he has that inside game, their defenders are backing down a little bit, and he can get that jump shot. His 3-point shot's looking good this year. He's shooting like 35%. Solid.
Zach?
He's helping Santa get those presents down the chimney.
Dylan, who's your Grinch?
Look, it's easy to pick the Celtics or the Rockets or the Spurs or whatever, but I'm going to go with the Thunder, a team that's actually 8-11 right now, and you guys can argue it all you want. But I just think when you add 2 superstars like Melo and
ones that need the ball, though.
Is Melo a superstar?
Okay.
I'm going to let you finish, but the ones that need the ball. Do you know that the Thunder are dead last? And you're going to think I'm crazy for this. They're dead last in the league in passes. Yep. They dish out the least amount of passes in the game.
My thing is, you're 19 games in.
Good point. It is very premature to argue about these things, but we're doing it anyways because that's what we do on Joyce.
You know the Heat were 9-8 their first year in the Big Three. They started 9-8.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, starting 8-11, you're in the West. Things happen.
You are comparing LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade all in their prime to Paul George, Carmelo Anthony.
That's my point even more. The fact that they were in their prime, so they were 9-8 and in the East, and now these guys are late in their prime and they're 8-11.
Should we stick Zach on Dylan right now? It seems a little crazy. I think.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear his point, because we've been interrupting him. We'll hear his point and then we'll argue.
All right, finish up.
When you had 2 great players to a team that already has a superstar and MVP like Russell Westbrook, it takes time to mesh.
There's no depth, though.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, there does.
There was no depth in the Heat.
Yes, are you kidding me? Dylan, you're comparing an old Carmelo
All I'm saying
Anthony.
is when they will get better and they will make the playoffs and they will have to run into one of those. They will have to run into the Warriors. I think it's
true. I would love to see the Warriors. By the way,
I mean, did you not just see the Thunder beat the
That
Warriors?
is one game.
Though.
Out of a seven-game series,
absolutely.
seven-game series, I think you see that performance maybe once, maybe
a quarter.
Yeah, but Paul George. Yeah, but Melo and George weren't even that good in that game. It was all Russ. I think one of those games, Melo goes off. I think George can go off. It's just so hard to keep them all in check. I don't know. I think if they played a series, it'd be close. As the college basketball season approaches, beat reporters, analysts, and writers start to share their preseason conference standings. I've seen several times lately, either on Twitter, in magazines, or other publications, Quinnipiac men's basketball picked last in the MAC standings. Its coaching staff was fired, the best players transferred. On paper, it might make sense. But don't write the Bobcats off just yet. They've got a new and energetic coaching staff. Players have transferred in from Division I programs like Penn State and George Washington, freshmen from Colorado and even Australia. Plus, arguably the best big man in the league in Chase Daniels is back. Now, I'm not saying they're going to make the NCAA tournament or win 25 games, but I'll be shocked if they are bottom feeders of the MAC. As millennials say, don't sleep. The Bobcats will be more fun to watch than you think. I'm Dylan Fearon.